guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. It is a fact well known and documented that I am a dewy skin hoe. I wasn't always this way. I used to be like completely matte, powder everything. Everything needs to be matte and flat and stay in place for 24 hours. But in my pursuit of like fresh faced dewy skin, I've really fallen in love with using cream products. I never used to really be a cream cheek product person. I used to do pretty much everything powder, but I first got into cream contouring and then from there kind of fell into the world of cream bronzers, cream blushes, cream highlighters, and oh my god. I've just kind of loved exploring the different textures and different formulas of things, and I have so many favorites I want to share with you guys. So I asked you guys a couple of videos back if you would like to see my favorite cream products, and normally when I say that I'm going to do a video, I never end up doing it, but today I am super excited to share with you guys my top. By the way, this is not blood, this is just red paint. I'm disgusting. It's pretty much all cheap products, but I have an assortment of my 20 absolute favorite cream blushes, bronzers, contours, and highlighters, and I'm so excited. So grab yourself a pinkity drinkity or whatever you want. Here are my top 20 recommendations slash favorites slash ride or die. I love these so much cream products. I'm going to start off with bronzers. I love myself a really good matte cream bronzers. Matte but not completely flat and very, very blendable. I want it to look nice and natural and just kind of lightly sun-kissed. By far my number one favorite cream bronzer would have to be the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick. I believe this made it into my 2018 favorites. They have two different colors. Mine is the shade Baked. I believe there's another one called Blaze, and that's for darker complexions. This I kind of look at as the cream bronzer version of the Marc Jacobs Coconut Bronzer. So both have like nice sleek white packaging. Both are gigantic for the amount of product you get. And they're both that kind of like perfect in between, not too warm but not too cool toned either. Just like perfect bronzer color. Milk does some of my favorite cream products, but I feel like this bronzer, it is matte, so it does stay in place throughout the day. This one does not fade on my cheeks, and that's one of my main concerns with a cream bronzer. However, it's also really, really nice and emollient and easy to blend, but not to a point where I feel like I could go overboard with it. So I love this one. I apply just directly to the cheeks, or I take a brush, I like dab it on here and then stipple it on, and this is just the best. This is my number one recommendation for a cream bronzer, and it's $24 for a butt ton of product. It's a full ounce. So I love this one, and it's definitely my favorite. I kind of have this thing for Samantha Robin. What I was saying before I cut myself off is I have a thing for Samantha Robin doll. This is the Nude Sticks All Over Face Color in the shade Bondi Bay. I have this thing that whenever I watch one of Samantha's videos, I take notes. 99% of the time, she talks me into buying something that I really, really need truly in my soul. This was one of them. Again, a matte stick bronzer, that nice, perfect kind of in-between shade. You do get a lot less product in here, but again, this one blends really easily. You have a brush on the other side. This is ass. I hate it. But I really, really do love the Nude Sticks formula. This one, I would say it's a little bit more long-wearing than the Milk one. Both I would say you can get a nice 8-9 hours of wear out of before they start fading, but this one is truly indestructible. It is a little bit more expensive, but I just love the formula of this one. It's super easy to blend and just very user-friendly, so I enjoy this one very much as well. I believe the last video that I did, which I just posted this morning that I'm filming this video, it was a Get Ready With Me, and I use this one as my bronzer, but this is the Undone Beauty Water Bronzer, also in the shade Baked, but this is different. It's a tiny little stick bronzer. This is definitely very little product, however it is very affordable. I think it's like $6. It's kind of the color of a coffee bean, however this is a sheer bronzer. So you put this one on and it basically just gives you a slight like wash of color. This is water-based, so it's very easy to blend on the skin. I definitely would recommend using it with a more water-based foundation. This is a really good approachable sheer bronzer. I get that it looks really scary in the stick, but on the skin it's just beautiful. This one's really cute, and I had to mention this one. It's a very unique formula. It's a little bit like cooling on the skin as well, but I love it. Finally, the cheapest one that I have to recommend is from Wet n Wild. This is a contour stick, but this is not a contour. The Mega Glow Creamy Contour Stick in the shade Call Me Maple. I bought this one to use as a cream contour originally, and I hated it as a contour because obviously it's like a warm bronzer shade.
Girl, look how orange you look, girl.
And honestly, I'm not one of those people who really, really loves Wet n Wild and swears by their products. A lot of the things I've tried from them I haven't been a fan of. This and the highlighters are my two favorite things from them. I love this so much. It's kind of a smaller and cheaper version of the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer, which already I think is pretty affordable for the amount of product you're getting, but this is almost exactly the same shade. This is a really nice subtly warm bronzer shade. It's a really nice, like, subtly warm bronzer shade. I love this one on the perimeter of the face just to kind of warm everything up and look like a natural tan. It is a bit more emollient, so it's easier to blend than the Milk Makeup one. However, it's not as longevitous. Is that a word? Pick and choose what you want to get. I think this is awesome, and I think the Milk Makeup one is awesome. I think everything in this video is awesome. That's why I'm making it.
Okay.
Alright, moving on to contours. I probably should have done this category first because cream contouring is what really got me into using cream products on my cheeks. Before I was just kind of like, nah, that ain't it, sis. Oh, how far we've come. Probably my favorite cream contouring product would have to be the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand. I would probably recommend if you're trying cream contouring out for the first time, go for something a bit more affordable and then just like get your way into it. I'm in the shade Fair Medium. I believe they have 2 shades of this one, maybe 3. This is so easy to use. I've never seen anyone look as beautiful as like Raw Beauty Kristi when she uses this. And when I first tried this one, I was a little bit hesitant because it does have a little bit of a warmer tone than I normally use for my contours, but somehow this just blends out seamlessly, and no matter how much I use of this one, I can always blend it out. So I love this one. It's perfect, it's effortless, it just creates this very nice natural shadow under the cheekbone, and just by far my favorite cream contour. Anastasia is very well known for their contouring products, so personally I really do love their cream contour kit. Fawn is probably one of the best like cool toned, truly amazing cream contours for fair skin tones. But these are really nice, kind of like thicker, heavier creams. They're definitely very matte. And they are slightly harder to blend, but I actually kind of appreciate that just because I don't want a contour to be too emollient, otherwise it's just gonna slide around and you can easily make mistakes with it. If you don't want to get the whole palette, which I totally get because most people don't use all the shades in the palette, I do carry them in sticks. I believe these are actually just called the foundation sticks, but I hate them as a foundation. The one that I use is the shade Mink, which is also the shade right here in the contour kit. It's a bit of a stiffer product, so again, I would say this is more of like a medium to advanced. I wouldn't recommend it as the first cream contour you pick up, but it's so damn good. And Anastasia does really good, like truly cool tone contours. One of my favorites from the drugstore is the Jordana Sculpt and Glow Creamy Contour Stick. I never really go into Walgreens ever, but I went specifically to pick up this because I heard, I want to say it was Arna Elaine recommending this one. She has a very, very fair skin tone, and it's really hard to find a good contour at the drugstore that's not super, super warm or super, super patchy. This is a really, really great contour shade for a fairer skin tone, but the formula of this one is what I really want to talk about. It's super user-friendly, so I think this is the ideal like start-off cream contouring product to try out because it's very inexpensive. I believe this is like $5 or $6. It's just this nice soft color that creates a very natural shadow under the cheekbones. I think it's just very user-friendly and easy to use. So I haven't really tried much from this brand in terms of other things, but this is probably one of my favorite drugstore products. I don't just think this is good for a drugstore product. I think regardless of price, this is amazing. So there's certain products where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't really pay more than $5, but it's fine for $5, whereas this, I would pay at least $25 for this. It's a really, really good formula. Finally, I think a really good formula for cream contouring would have to be the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks. So I use the shade Amber. They have so many different shades of this. Fenty really does cover all the bases with different complexions. But the matchstick formula I think is really special because it's just the perfect formula for cream contouring. I don't necessarily love the matchsticks for concealers or even highlighters. I think they're a very dry matte formula and that can be really hard to work with. But for cream contours, that's awesome because this is going to stay in place, because this literally stays in place all day long. It's what I take traveling with me because I am not a fan of touching up things when I travel. Amber is my personal favorite cream contour shade, but whatever shade you pick, I think the formula is going to be just... Cream blush is really interesting to me because it kind of straddles between that like no makeup, natural makeup look. On most days, I kind of wear what I'm wearing right now, minus the blue in the inner corner. It's just like this minimal, it's just more minimal, neutral makeup, but I can still wear like a nice blush color and it looks like it fits in the look. I can also wear a nice vibrant cream blush and feel like it fits within a more glammed up Instagram crazy makeup look. I feel like when you think Glossier, you don't normally think like really pigmented, bright, vibrant colors. You definitely think of like, oh, you aren't naturally beautiful and you don't have to spend 45 minutes getting ready in the morning? Can't relate. Cloud paints from Glossier are a really big shocker for me because they really can do both. For example, I have the shade Dusk, which is a very nice like beige toned, slightly peachy, almost brown toned blush. It's very, very neutral, just looks very natural, like a natural flush on the cheeks. Whereas Storm, which is what I'm wearing today, bright, beautiful, deep berry shades. But they're the most beautiful cream blush. They look very natural on the skin. They are very pigmented, so you definitely want to go in with a very light hand. Glossier is not generally a brand that I think you have to go very light-handed with, but with the cloud paints, you definitely want to go in with a very, very small amount at first. But these are called the Cloud Paint Seamless Cheek Color, and they truly are seamless. These blend so beautifully into whatever you're wearing on the skin, whether it's like a light tinted moisturizer or a full coverage foundation. They are super versatile. There's so many beautiful colors and I'm just obsessed with this formula. So I will probably definitely 100% be purchasing more colors of the Glossier Cloud Paints, but until then, love these. If you want a ball on a budget, I think a really similar effect on the skin and probably one of my favorite cream products of all time, regardless of price, would be the AOA Studio Hush Sheer Cream Blushes. When I first reviewed these ones, I wasn't quite into my dewy skin renaissance phase yet. I was dabbling into like cream contouring and cream bronzers, but I really wasn't there with cream blushes, and now I'm 100% there. These have been something I use almost on the daily, at least until I got the cloud paints. Again, I feel like these really are a master of contextualization. They fit within the context of a very, very full beat makeup look or a nice minimal dewy makeup look. Blush is just, it can do all the things. It's beautiful. My favorite shade is Shy. It looks intimidating in the pan. It's a deep burgundy, but I just go into the pretty light hand. These are super easy to blend. They are called the cream sheer blushes, but they can be built up as much as you want them to be or blended out as much as you want them to be, and they're just never too much. These are awesome, and they're $1. I don't understand. I feel bad kind of mentioning these ones because I've looked online and then you can't really seem to find them anywhere online. They are in stores. I've gone to 4 different Anthropologies and they're pretty much always there, but I can't find them online, so that's kind of weird. But on a whim, I decided to pick up these blush sticks from a brand called Albeit. Anthropologie has always had this like beauty section that I've never thought to dabble into, but they have a lot of really cool brands in there, like RMS Beauty, Lila B. It's kind of like the same vibe as Glossier, but just more expensive because it's Anthropologie and everyone is aggressively bougie there. But I picked up 2 of these beautiful Albeit cream blush sticks. I have the shades Ruby and Grenadine. Both are bright and beautiful and so stunning on the cheeks. I love using these to kind of do a nice monochromatic flushed look. So I'll put some of this on my cheeks, blend it out, and then use some of it on my lips as well. And it just kind of ties the entire look together. They're very nice and easy to blend out. The packaging is beautiful. They look like something from Charlotte Tilbury. I love the packaging and the aesthetic of these, and this entire brand seems to be really centered around just like good, clean ingredients, and I love that. All right, best category ever. Highlighter. I'm gonna start with the one I've been wearing today. Can we just take a second to like admire this? Deadass. Have been wearing this highlighter every day for the past week and a half. This is a new release. It's from the Glossier Play line. It's called the Night Shine Highlighter Concentrate in the shade Pale Pearl. Oh my god. Oh my god! I love this a ridiculous amount. First of all though, I do want to say the packaging looks like it's going to be so much bigger online. So when I ordered this one, I was like, it's probably going to be, you know, like the size of this maybe, or like just like a little bit of a fatter bottle. And it showed up and I was like, that is so small. I don't know. Granted, you are getting about 1/3 of an ounce in here, so it's not actually a very small amount of product, but it's just a very small compact packaging, which I appreciate. It looked bigger online. And I hate when things turn out to be smaller in person. Pretty sure this is another Samantha Ravndahl recommendation because I can't get enough of her and her recommendations. I know that Glossier Play is completely separate, like aesthetic and version of Glossier. It's not going for that same minimalistic look. It's going for bright and fun and blingy, but it's still within the Glossier family. So I was figuring it would be like a nice softer highlighter. I wasn't expecting to get a nice blinding glow, but bam. It's so beautiful. It is definitely in my top 5 favorite highlighters overall. And I still generally use powder highlighters. I only use cream contour, but I still do use powder highlighters most of the time. This though, this is not only my #1 recommendation from Glossier Play, it's my #1 recommendation from them as a whole. Of course, everyone always talks about the cult favorite butter bronzer from Physicians Formula, but I never hear anyone talking about the butter highlighters. I have the shade Pearl. They have a couple different shades of these. The butter bronzer is a true powder, so I think people were expecting these to be like a nice, slightly creamy powder. These are truly a cream, which I feel like is why people have not paid as much attention to it, and that's a crime. I always hear people talking about the Physicians.
Yeah, hello, 911?
This is such a soft, luminous, beautiful, pearly glow. It's definitely nice and blinding, but it's not super like icy or aggressive on the skin. This is one of those bright highlighters that truly just melt into the texture of your skin. So truly looks best after like 1 or 2 hours of wear when your natural oils kind of start to come through and it just blends everything in and looks so good. Definitely would recommend using a finger to apply this one. I've tried it with a brush. It's a freaking mess. So I would say definitely use a finger or maybe a sponge with this one, but I love it. The Hollywood Flawless filter, I'm including it here in the highlighter category, even though I don't necessarily use it as a highlighter because it's meant to be a highlighter, a really, really big one. This is kind of a weird product because it has so many different uses that you don't really know what category to put it in. The Flawless filter is a very light, skin-tinted, luminous enhancer, I guess. So you can add this one to the high points on the face after foundation to add this beautiful, very natural, like lit within glow. So if you want to look like you drink water, are unstressed, eat your vitamins, vaccinate your kids. However, if you are feeling really good about your skin, which thankfully I have been feeling very good about my skin lately, I love using this one as like an all-over complexion product. It's not a foundation. It doesn't claim to be a foundation because they only have 6 shades, and that would be the most awful shade range of all time. For me, it's a foundation substitute. So if I don't feel like wearing foundation on that day, I'll just put this one all over my face. Almost too much, but it's never enough. This is just like supermodel, glowy, beautiful skin. It just looks healthy on the face, and this has kind of skyrocketed me towards that nice dewy look. Before, I always wanted my face to be super matte, just to cover any imperfections and insecurities. I wanted it to look like I was wearing makeup. And now I kind of want it to look like I'm wearing makeup, but also I don't need to, you know? I don't know if I explained that well. Everyone kind of like flipped their shit when the Farsali Jelly Beam came out. I flipped my shit when they came out with a mini because I was not willing to spend $40 on a damn jelly highlighter. But 22, I can do that. I have the shade Glazed. I believe that's the lightest shade, but this is a putty highlighter. It's a super weird texture. Definitely would not recommend using it with a brush. Again, I think cream highlighters, pretty much all of them, apply best with a finger. It's kind of very similar to the Glossier one, a little bit less easy to apply just because that one has an actual applicator, whereas this, you have to like stick your finger in there. And if you wear nails like me, this is stunning on the skin. You're not getting a ton of product in here, but I don't use it every day, so it's okay. And I've just loved being able to test it out in a smaller version. You definitely do want to make sure it is completely sealed. It can be trickier to close and it will dry out, so definitely make sure it's sealed, but this is so bomb, and I would definitely recommend purchasing it in a smaller size. This next one is not for the faint of heart. I would say if you're wanting a good, like, typical cream highlighter, this maybe wouldn't be your thing, but if you want to look like you have wet skin. This is from the Becca Skin Love line. It's the Glow Glaze Stick. I first tried this one out and I absolutely despised it because I was expecting it to be like a nice pearly highlighter, but this has little to no base pigment in it. It's basically just like a skin gloss. So it's not so much for like a nice pearly reflective effect on the skin, so much as it is to look very dewy and wet on the cheeks. Very unique, wet looking skin effect, which might not be for everyone, but for me, oh yeah. And the final thing I have is another very, very affordable product. One of my favorite cream highlighters, regardless of price, once again. This is from AOA Studio. It's called the Velour Highlighter. They're pretty similar to the Butter Highlighter, actually, but they're very pearly and reflective. These truly just like have this melty texture. Very creamy and easy to blend out, but they just look so gorgeous on the skin. And they have so many different shades of this one. I believe they have a few like kind of duochrome shifty ones. I think there's a really beautiful pink one that I don't remember. These are gorgeous. My one gripe with them is that the packaging is kind of cheap, but you know what? It's $1, so I can live with that. Guys, so that is it for my top favorite cream products. I was super excited to film this video just because I love cream products. I'm so passionate about these. So if anybody has any recommendations, please let me know because I'm so down to try some more. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you have any recommendations or if you're just like a cream cheek products hoe. Let's share that love together. Also, make sure you're following me down below on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. I love you. Bye. So, this is. I always hear people talking about the fish.